Okay. So when you first log in, you are going to see, I'm sorry, Dan, you're not hearing anything? Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to make sure he can hear still. Okay. All right. So when you first log in, you are going to see your dashboard. Trending down is going to be the number of individuals attending less activities in the last 7 days than the week before. And trending up, you're going to see the number of individuals attending more activities in the last 7 days than the week before. So, for example, if a resident attended 4 activities last week but attended 5 this week, that would be considered trending up. And so these boxes are clickable. And so once you click in, you can go and view that list of residents who are trending up and who are trending down. And then attended one or more. So this is going to be a statistic where you can see the percentage of residents that have attended at least one activity in the past week. So this is great for encouraging socialization, seeing trends, and looking into why a resident hasn't attended any activities in the past week. And so it's great if this number is a lot higher when you do start tracking those activities. But this is also clickable. So when you actually click into this box, you're going to see that list of residents who haven't attended any activities in the past week. All right, and then over here we have our daily agenda. So this will show what's scheduled for the day along with some quick action items. So like taking attendance, registering residents, taking photos. So again, that training is going to be in December. You can also edit your activities from here. And then notifications. So these are going to be personalized to you. So you could put resident birthdays in here, new announcements, anything like that. In the future, when you roll out to family and residents, those family and resident users that log in can also set their personal notifications as well. And then up here on this LifeLoop bar, you have your global community selector. So this is going to show you your communities as well as the levels of care that you Apologies. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So up here we have the global community selector. And so this is going to show you your communities as well as the level of cares you have. This is permission based. So if staff members are only tied to one community or level of care, they're only going to see that community and level. So if you, like I have assisted living and independent living check marked right now. So those are the 2 levels of care that I am looking at managing. But I can select more. I can select all of them by clicking LifeLoop Community. So it'll be your full community name. Or you can just uncheck. Okay. And then over here we have the bell. So here's where you're going to see any notifications. It's going to show you a number telling you how many notifications you have not yet viewed. And then up here, this is pretty important. This is going to be your settings tool. So only staff that have permission to access this will see this. These are going to be your site-wide settings that you will want to set up prior to using the system as they flow to the calendars. And we will go over where that's pulling up when we're in that feature. And so first I can click on this bold community name, and here's where you can set your locations for activities. So these will be a standard across your whole building and they aren't preset. So for this example, I can put courtyard and then CY as the abbreviation. And when I create that location, that's going to go straight on the bottom there. And if for whatever reason, if you ever needed to delete a location, we do have the option to delete with this little X here. And then also you can set personal activities. So these are going to be activities that will go to a specific resident. So this is a quick action to be able to add a personal activity to their list and their feed. So a lot of communities will put one-on-ones in here, but maybe you'd like their family members to know that a resident spent his or time reading or being outside, etc. You can enter in those personal activities here and then create that option, and that will give you your list once you build that out. All right, and then if I click on a level of care here, so you'll notice the levels of care are not bolded. This is where your logos will be, your phone number and your address. So I would just verify that everything is correct in there. But when the address is entered, the system actually smart pulls your location and weather, and this will go on your displays, which we will glance at in the future. And then we have this question mark up here. So this is going to be quick access to our learning community. Everything is broken down by tool. So I can actually start with getting started. But there are a lot of frequently asked questions, short video tutorials, and other documents. So all that information is there for you. We also offer LifeLoop learning courses every month, and we'll have November's out by tomorrow. So you'll be able to download this, and then there are going to be little green links that you can register. And so if you register and you can't make it, you will be sent an email that same day with the recording. Also up here, we have our contact to our support line. My extension is 9. So that is available for you as well. And you can also request support. So when you request support, you can fill out this information and what you need assistance with, and it emails our support team, which includes myself. So we want you to have access to all of this, but I am here for support as well. So whatever is going to save you the most time, we do want this to be as effortless as possible for you. So do not hesitate to come to me if you need to. And then up here on the right-hand side, you will actually see your name. And then you will see a drop down here. So if I go over to my profile, I can see any of my pertinent information. So my first name, last name, title, date of birth, etc. Any communities that I'm associated with. And then I can actually go and set my notifications. So it'll look a little different than this. I'll actually go to a staff member just so you can kind of get a little better view of that. So it'll look a little bit more like this. So you enter in your phone number, and this is private to you. So you can set any of your notifications. So whether or not you'd like to receive those in app, text, or via email. And if you are on a mobile device, you can also set push notifications. And those are going to be more of your banner type notifications. So that's all there for you. And if you ever have a change in email as well, you can sign in with your normal account or your username, and you can make any changes like your email right here. You just want to make sure you save that account. All right, so that is it for the dashboard and manage settings. We are going to go over to calendar. So you'll see as I hover over the left toolbar here, you'll see all of the tools that your communities are tied to. So we are going to go over to calendar. So we won't be going over activity tracking or photos today, but you will see those quick action items. Just know that those are there, but your focus right now is just to build those calendars out. But here is where you can view your activity calendar. On the left, you will see your month view, and then on the right, you will see your daily agenda. And then right under the month and year here, you're going to see a drop down for calendars. So here's where you can choose your desired calendar. So if you do have access to multiple calendars, you can choose multiple calendars to work with at the same time. So maybe AL, IL, and MC all have the same activity. You can just add that activity all at once. Otherwise, you can just choose to select one calendar at a time. I do suggest always checking your calendar to ensure that you are working on the correct one. Now, I just have a lot of calendars selected here, so I'm going to take off some of these so it's a little easier on the eyes. There we go. So I just want my assisted living activity calendar selected. So as you are building your calendars and they are getting full, you can easily filter those all activities, those activities where you've taken attendance, those that have registration, max registration, and wait lists when you do start taking attendance. You can also filter by activity type. So this is going to be your dimensions of wellness, and yours are actually customized. So they do look a little different than these. But if I want to take a look at all social activities, I can click social, and that's going to show me all of the social activities for the month that I'm viewing. I can also search a name or location. So if I want to take a look at all fit classes, I can type in fit. And then I can easily clear those filters. So you'll also see that there's a little plus sign with a number next to it. That just means you're not able to view all of the activities within that specific day. So you can actually click show all, and that's going to expand all of those additional activities so you're able to view those all at once. And we also have our day, week, and month selector. So if I just want to take a look at the day only, I can do that. I can click on the day. If I want to take a look at the week, I can do that. And then I can go back to the month view, which also shows the daily agenda. And we also have arrows, and this is where you can toggle by days or months. So you'll notice, so the 27th is today, and it is highlighted in blue. When I click on the one arrow to the right, it's going to take me to the next day. So Thursday, October 28th, and so on. Or I can go back. And then the double arrow is going to take you by month. So that way, if there's an activity you want to look at that's months out, or an activity for a previous month, you can do that by those arrows. So you'll notice every time I click those double arrows, this changes over here to the next month. And then to view the present day, you just click today. All right, so I am going to go through creating a few activities. So your activities will be viewable by any family members logging in once you do roll out to families. I will also show you, we do have a feature with where family members can be invited by the community to register for an activity. The connections can register themselves. So if you have an event at your community and you want them to be able to register and say that they are coming, you can do that. So we're going to go through creating a new activity. So we have this plus new activity blue button right here. You'll notice any blue buttons are going to be your action items. So on the right hand side of your screen, this activity form has appeared, and this form is for inputting any details of the activity. So first it's going to pop up with the calendar that I have selected. So if you have multiple calendars for the same activities, you can have more multiple calendars, but you can just choose to work with one. And then activity name. So I will begin inputting by typing the name in. So I will make up a name here, but anytime you used a name for an activity, it's going to store in here. So if you remember having a great name for an activity, say it included pet visits, or pet therapy, as soon as you start typing it in the activity name, it will pop up and it's going to automatically be stored for you. I'll pick pet therapy for this, and then you can pick your location. So again, you set your locations in these settings here, which is permission based, and that's going to flow in over here. So I'll go ahead, I'll pick the social hall, and I will pick, let's see, emotional. Yep, emotional for this activity type. You just want to be consistent when choosing the activity type for each activity. And then, sorry, just admitting one more person. Okay. And then you can choose a time. So the time that the activity will take place, you can enter an exact time, but if your activity is more of a general time, you're able to choose all day, morning, afternoon, or evening as well from this drop down. I will just go with an exact time. I'll go 6 p.m. And then once I tab over, it'll give me these increments of time, or you can just type in your time. We'll choose 90 minutes. And then reoccurring, so I can set this up as a reoccurring activity. So this is optional, but it can save you time with all of the activities that you have that are reoccurring. And there's many ways to set that up. So you can set it up weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and more. So if I click on days, I can have it every day, every other day. I can click week, have it every other week. Maybe I want this we'll do every other week. You can also have it multiple times a week just by clicking on those extra days there. And then my start date will be today. And then my last date is going to populate 2 years out. So you can have this as far out as you'd like, so you can avoid any extra work, or you can have it as far back as you'd like. So we'll just keep this 2 years out. I'll go ahead and save that. And then when I scroll down here, I can see that reoccurring pattern. So every 2 weeks, starting this Wednesday, and then it goes through 2023. And then we also have registration types. So once you do open up registration to residents, they can register for these events. You also have the ability to do time slots, which I will do that in a different activity. And then you can have no registration at all. And then maximum number. So this is going to be the maximum number of individuals that attend this event. So I can go ahead and put 10. This field is optional, and it does work for both reoccurring and one-off events. And so once the event has hit its maximum number of attendees, any residents that register after that would be put on a wait list. And so this is going to be more for when you are actually tracking. And so that training is going to be in early December, but we'll just put a number there. And then connections. So that's where you would allow connections to register, and then you can have a maximum number. And then description. So let's see, we can put 10 happy dogs. You can have a description, but this is nice. You can put links in as well. So if you have any virtual activities, then anybody who's registered or can view the calendar can go in, click on that link, and be a part of that virtual activity. So once I'm finished, I'll create new activity, and then I'll see that it's popped up right here. So once I'm done, I see it pop up, and at any time I can edit the activity by this quick action item here. And so I can go in and I can edit this activity. So say I just want to change the time of this activity, I can scroll down. Maybe I want it at 5 p.m. So I changed this activity to 5. When I go and update this activity, since it is reoccurring, I get this edit reoccurring activity pop-up box. So I can choose to edit only this activity, any activities following this activity, or if I've had any activities that are part of this reoccurring in the past, I would choose all activities. But for this, I'll choose only this activity. And I can go in and edit that activity. So you'll see it changed here from 5 to 7:30. And then let's see. And then the next 2 weeks, it still stays in that reoccurring pattern from 6 to 7:30. And then if you ever need to delete or cancel, you can just use that quick action item there, that edit activity, and you can delete or mark the activity as canceled. So once you do have displays up and running, it actually, if you mark an activity as canceled, it will show on your displays, and anybody who's registered for it gets a notification that it's been canceled. But that way you are actually displaying and you're showing that this activity has been canceled. But if you need to just delete the activity, you can delete it. And again with this pop-up box. So delete recurring activity, only this activity or following activities. I'll delete only this activity, and you'll see it's disappeared. All right, we will go through adding another activity. This one will be for time slots. So I'll click new activity, and we'll pick beauty shop for this example. Location, probably the salon. And then type. So again, you'll want to be consistent with your types. Exact time. I actually want to change this to tomorrow. So we have this little date here. I'm going to change it to tomorrow. And then I want it for 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I'm not going to have it reoccurring. We just want to go to time slots and set up time slots. And so you can pick a duration. So you have your durations in here. I'm going to type in 60. That'll equal an hour for them to get their haircut, and availability per slot. So if I have 2 hairstylists per every 60 minutes, then I can put in 2. So you'll have 2 residents register for this particular time slot. And then connection availability, again, that would be more for when you are adding connections. But I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then when I scroll down, you'll see that you have 9 60-minute time slots. And you can enter in a description, anything like that. All right, any questions over the calendar builder? Okay, we also have
I think
this.
we're good. Didn't get any questions.
Nothing? Okay. And yep, we have this print and export button here too. So if you ever need to copy and paste the calendar, print the day. So if you just need a quick printout of the day, you can do that. You will have the option to design your calendars. We'll have templates ready for you so you can design your calendar so you won't need to print off the week or the month unless it's for yourself. But I think that is it for the calendar builder. We can move on to resident management. So I'm going to hover over this left toolbar here, and it's just one down. And I'll click on residents. So here's where you will be able to view all of your residents. You'll see once I selected that, on the left, I have 3 types of residents. So I have those who are active, those that are on leave, so they're currently out of the building, but they will be back, or I have deactivated residents, so they are no longer with the community. And then over on the left here, we have groups. So you can easily group residents. So you can easily send them all an announcement at once, or just to know who all is a part of a specific group. And so you can easily select who you'd like to add to the group by just clicking on the little boxes next to their name, and then going to the selected dropdown and clicking add to group. So in here, you're going to be able to select any previously created groups, or you can just type in a new group name. I'm just going to pick, let's see, I'll pick them for bingo. And then if you do type it in, you just want to make sure you click enter, and that's going to make it stick, and then submit. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck these, but I selected them for bingo. So I can actually click on bingo here, and that's going to show me any residents that are in the group bingo. And then I can just unclick it to unselect it. All right, and then so when you are making your selections, or you can actually select this all button here. And so you can actually go to the selected dropdown and you can export it as a CSV file, or you can print it. So I can kind of show you that printout. So printing the selections you made, or if you're selecting all, is going to give you a directory. So let's see if I can zoom in here. There you go. So it gives you a little bit of directory. So it shows their profile picture, their name, their unit number. This little red camera with a slash through it means that they've declined photo release. And then the little metal means they're a veteran. So it'll show you any of their pertinent information there. But this is great for any new staff coming in, you know, if they're just wanting to get to know the residents. All right. And then once you do roll out to residents, this is where you can also send them a welcome email, or send a password reset. Also, if you ever have any duplicates in here, let's see if I can find one. Here we go. If you have any duplicate residents, we can actually merge these residents. So I can make those selections, and then I can go to the selected drop down and I can click manage duplicates. So I have this pop-up box that says merge duplicate residents. So this is a caution just saying that once you merge with the residents, it is permanent, and then you can't unmerge them. So you'll want to select the account that you want to be the main resident and the other resident merging it to. So typically the account that has the most information and history. So this one right here looks like it has the most history. So once I click on it, it'll highlight in blue with a check mark. And then I can click this merge and delete duplicate. And then once I go back, and so you'll just see that now she only has one profile. And so we do have, here's another blue action item. So plus new resident. So that button is there, but we, LifeLoop and corporate, we're updating this every day. So your lists are in there. So you really shouldn't need to use this button at all unless you are instructed by corporate or it's absolutely necessary. So just something to be aware of. But also when you are viewing all active residents, you can see their profile picture, their room number, again, whether or not they've declined photo release, whether they're a veteran, maybe the wheelchair access. And then you can also filter. So when filtering your residents, you can click to view the residents who are on a positive trend or a negative trend of activities attended in the past week when you do start tracking. And then zero, they've attended 0 activities last week. You can filter by any of your veterans, any of those that have declined photo release, any of those that are on the leave of absence, and any of those that have been deactivated. Also, any of these groups, you can also search the groups in here. So if I want to take a look at veterans, oops, there we go. I can type in veteran, and that's going to give me that list. All right, and then we do have this activity bar here. So this is going to show you the trends over the last 10 weeks. So this is great when you do start tracking, you see any patterns the resident might have, how active they've been. Maybe you just have a lot more of activities during these certain periods of those 10 weeks. And then personal activities. So I can add a new personal activity from here or within the resident profile, but I'm going to go ahead and add it through here. And we'll have crosswords and puzzles. And then you can select a time. Maybe it's more of a general time and the date. And then any additional attendees. So if there's another resident joining him, maybe Alexa's joining him to play crosswords and puzzles, you can enter in a description and then any photos. And then once you create that personal activity, that's going to go on both of their activity feed once the activities pass. All right, and we do also have the ability to add notes. So if you click on this note button here, this is going to take you to the notes view within the resident profile. So this is staff view only. So maybe the weekend staff wants to leave a note regarding this resident for the staff that works that coming week. It's just nice to keep that communication going so no information gets lost. But there's that new note button there. And then you can tag the resident and type in your note there and save it. Okay, we'll go back to the resident list here. Okay, and then you can also edit a resident from here as well, but we'll get a little bit more into that. I'm just going to pull up a resident profile so I can just click on Alexa here. And so when I click on her, you can actually see any of her information. So community, she's in, unit, phone number, birthday, etc., and her biography. So again, great for any new staff or just trying to get to know your residents. They can have a biography in here. And then any attachments. And then once you do invite connections later, you'll see all of their connections, which we'll get into that training at a later time. And then we have likes and dislikes. So this matches the resident with other residents that have the same likes. Also, when a staff member has a conversation with a resident, finds out she really loves gardening, they can easily put that in here or create a conversation from it. So these are filterable as well. So if I want to take a look at everybody, she has the same interest as 14 other residents. They all like cards. I can actually click on these 14 residents to be able to view them. Okay, actually I'll go back. So you can edit a resident from here. So this is a quick action to be able to edit your resident. So you can add a profile picture for them. So you can add a photo or you can take a picture. So taking a picture is going to be mainly for mobile devices or a tablet. But if I go ahead, let's see, or I can recrop the picture. So when you do add a photo, you can actually easily drag it around, zoom in, zoom out if needed. And then once you click crop photo, that'll enter in that picture for you. All right, and then you'll see there's her first name, her last name. Preferred name would be if she has, if she prefers Alex. And then date of birth, gender, phone number, etc. Community, if they ever change communities, then you can go ahead and change that in here. Just ensure that you save that profile. You can add any groups or select from any of the previous groups. And saving that profile, we'll save her profile there. All right, and then I can go over to additional. So this is where you can put in their room number, or maybe they've changed rooms, move-in date, anniversary. You can enter in any likes or dislikes. Again, when you click in, you'll have any of those previously inputted likes or dislikes, or you can just type it in. And then we have decline photo release. So they don't want to be tagged in any photos. They don't want those photos showing up. You can have a decline photo release form where they can fill that out. But then you would check that if they don't want their photo to be released. And then if they're a veteran, and then if they've opted out of the directory. So if they opt out of the directory, they will not be able to see other residents that have been chosen to be in the directory. And then here's where you can enter in that biography. And then I can go over to new attachments here. So you can put any attachments here if you'd like. So maybe that declined photo release form, or maybe a social history, anything that you want to attach there to their profile. And then notifications. So if residents want to log into LifeLoop, this is how they can be notified. So would they like to be notified through the app, receive texts or email notifications? This is where you can help them out and make their selections for them, or they can make the selections themselves for their preferences regarding notifications. So when a resident registers for an activity, they can actually receive a text notification an hour or so prior, reminding that resident of that activity. So there's these activity registration reminders, cancellation, messages. And then if I go over to account here, if they have an email, this is where that would be entered in. Also the username, there will be a username that's automatically populated. And if they need assistance with logging in, or you can actually create a generic password for them to log in with, and then they can go in through their profile and change that. Otherwise, if they have an email and they want to log in themselves, you can send them a welcome email. So there will be a little button here that says send welcome email. Or again, if you make that selection, go that selected drop down, you'd send that welcome email. Okay, I'm going to go back to Alexa's profile picture or profile here. So we kind of went through this a little bit here. You can also print. So you get that nice printout of all their likes, dislikes, biography, etc. We can also go over to the activity feed. So when you do start tracking attendance, you'll be able to see what they've attended, how many they've averaged per week, and how many they've declined over the past month, how many activities they're more likely to attend, that percentage with this nice pie chart here. And you can view the past month, past view, or a custom range. Also, this is great for one-on-ones or just creating a report. You can choose your report type and print that. And so it might be better landscape view. Maybe not. Might be more in your settings, but it would get a nice, you'd have a nice printout of what that would look like to share. And then any other past activities will go here. So you'll be able to view those and any photos or anything attached to those. And then my calendar. So this is going to be their own personal calendar. So anything that they have registered for. And you can also create a new personal activity or edit the resident from here as well. And then notes. So again, this is staff view only. And these can be permission based. So you can put in notes for specific departments, however you see fit. But they are more for internal staff communication. And any notes added, staff will actually receive a notification as well. All right, and then residents' personal photo gallery. So staff, family members, once they are invited, and the residents themselves can add photos. So any pictures that are tied to a specific resident will be here. And so maybe they were tagged in a photo taken from an activity. They just won't see any pictures of other residents unless they've been tagged in that same picture with the other residents in it. So in the future, when you do have families invited, family and connections can actually log into LifeLoop and they can add photos for their loved ones to view. So maybe a resident's grandson had a basketball game and her daughter is a LifeLoop user and added a picture of him to LifeLoop for her to see. Once that photo has been added, the resident will receive a notification and will be able to log into LifeLoop and go to their personal photo gallery to view it. So, and if the resident does not have the capabilities of checking themselves, staff can actually receive a notification as well and show her that picture from her grandson's basketball game. And then reports. Here you can see, you can quickly see graphs of attendance and those types. I think that is it for resident management. Does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to add? It's kind of a quicker training.
Hey, Chelsea.
Will you?
Molly here. I had one question come in a text. To clarify, everybody, a personal activity would be like, let's say you see Martha bird watching with her best friend Pam in memory care, and you want to add that personal activity so that her family and her profile reflect that she was enjoying bird watching or time outside. That's where you would add those things.
Correct. So yeah, it's not something that's going on your activity calendar. It's something that they're participating in themselves. They're being active. They're doing something.
Chelsea, will you show how you can make the calendar, the iCal, so you can connect it to an Outlook? I had one question about that.
If you go back to the calendar here, if you go to this print and export option, you can actually click this generate iCal, but that's going to have all of the activities go on your calendar. So just something to be aware of with that. All right. Any other
I think
questions?
all the other questions were answered. Unless anyone else has them, they can put them in the chat now.